Oh God, we're back!
We're back! Oh my god. Technical hiccup. Don't shoot me. That's what we get for not having pants on. I know. We have pants, these wires hang down and get in the way, and... Oh,
Yeah, let's not talk about the friction burn.
I know, right? Thank God for Vaseline. That's all I have to say. We lubed it up and we're back on.
And that's exactly what I wanted all those people to hear. We lubed it up, and here we are.
Yep.
Hi, guys. We figured out how it works again.
Yes, nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. It's
all
part
right.
of what makes us sexy.
Then how about, do you have anything else you want to bring up real quick?
Yes. I need a Kickstarter for...
Don't we all?
No, not for me personally. I want to see a Kickstarter for a new River City Ransom. If they're going to kickstart anything, it's got to be a new River City Ransom.
Let's see, who the hell owns that? That's Technosoft.
Yep.
I think they were bought out by... Aren't they in the Tecmo Koei?
Yep. Yeah, they merged. Merged into Tecmo Koei.
Ooh. That would be kind of awesome.
It would be. Well, I mean, we're seeing more from the combined company. We're seeing more Koei titles coming west, which is always great.
Oh, God,
but
yes.
we're not seeing as many Tecmo IPs getting played around, except for, I think, a soccer one. You know, we need a new Tecmo Sword of the Stars. We need River City Ransom, Super Dodgeball, you know? Even if it's on XBLA, I'd still play the shit out of it.
Oh, God, yes. That would be fan-friggin-tastic. I mean, I would love to see some of Koei's old strategy games. I played the hell out of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And I would love to see them start bringing those games out again.
Exactly.
I would pay money. Good money.
Recently they had, we had Uncharted Waters, the MMO come out, which was good, but not the same. There's a Dynasty Warriors MMO out that I think Area Games is running.
That's correct.
And I know there is a Romance of the Three Kingdoms MMO, but I don't think it made it west yet. But I know it's been out a while. There's been several like it from other companies, but I think Koei has one in operation in Asia, but I don't think it made it over here yet.
That would be, trying to pull that away from the MMO space and actually playing some of the old game, hell, even if they brought back, it really saddens me that none of the Romance of the Three Kingdom games are on Steam. I think that if it were there, I would see it pop up on sale occasionally, and that would be great.
Well, exactly. Or they could, they could do the re-releases that we're seeing other companies do, right? They could bring it out on XBLA or PSN or even on Steam. Re-release them, either do them as HD collections or just re-release them for the hell of it. I mean, look at Square Enix. They've been re-releasing Final Fantasies on everything you can imagine. We're soon going to find, Final Fantasy IV on toilet paper. But,
I'd play it.
Well, I'd play it too. It'd give me something to do. But, Tecmo Koei, they've got all these great, really loved franchises that have been just sitting there doing nothing. They could bring them back. But, if we wanted to write up a list of games we want to see come back either as new iterations or re-releases, well, we'd be here all frickin' year.
I tell you what, let's do that as a top 5 later on. Write that down.
Yeah. Noted. Logged. Check.
Fantastic.
All right. So, you have any other Kickstarters you want to bring up, or you just want to ride the Shadowrun horse until we go into the night?
Riding the Shadowrun horse would be fun. I'm actually running a game with that using the Roll20 system that I was talking about earlier. Ooh. Okay, I think we have a suggestion. Let's talk about the Ouya.
Oh God, do we have to?
Apparently so.
Oh well, we said we'd be guided by our audience, so we'll be guided by our audience. Well, before I begin my long multi-accented rant, why don't you start us off with discussing your side of the great Ouya debate? Okay,
because I find that I am in the extreme minority in this when I talk to some of my other friends, some of which are actually in the game industry. I think that the Ouya can be a good thing. I think the problem is that we are not, us, huge gamer nerds, are not the target audience for this thing. It is a console system with a potentially huge uh, market of games at least, because every game that came out, every game that uses Android, that's a lot of them, and not everyone has Android phones. There are a lot of games that are fun that are exclusive to Android that could easily be brought over with a few tweaks and just re-released. And it's an additional way to penetrate markets that wouldn't be penetrated otherwise. If you got the Ouya into a Walmart, there are tons of people that would go and buy it. Tons of people that would be able to hook it up and use whatever internet they got, because a lot of people have internet, a lot of people have PCs, not a lot of people um, have consoles, and not a lot of people, and those people are probably looking more at having an iPhone rather than having that. And I think that it's a good potential market for people that would not be like us who have everything, or for people who are, it'd be good for people who are on a budget who say, you know what, I would like to have a console, but I'm not dropping $250 for a 360. I'm not dropping $300 or however much it is for a PS3. I'll get this. You know what? It plays games. All the games are going to have demos at least, and more than likely they're going to be full games that are supplemented through in-game purchases. I think that a lot of people are selling it short, but I think that a lot of it has to do with how they market it and who they end up which demographics they attack the hardest. I think that their biggest groups of people are going to be the tinkerers, the people that have to have everything and like to go in there and play with stuff. But I think the larger group is going to be people like Cheftink's mom and his or her young nieces and nephews. It's $100, or okay, that's the Kickstarter price. Let's jack it up to 150. That puts it almost in the Wii range, and for something that will be able to provide potentially thousands of games just sitting right there, it's like having a console dedicated to Steam or OnLive. Hell, those things. I mean, yeah, it's a pain in the balls to get them into people's houses, but once they start getting better market penetration, they'll probably be doing all right. I think the same thing will happen with this without having to worry about the constantly always-on internet connection.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, let's hear your multifaceted, multi-whatever rant.
All right, well, here's the fundamental problems I have with it. And this is partly because, well, these are thoughts that I had when it was first announced, and I read over all the information they put on the Kickstarter. But this is also intelligence that has been gathered through various connections that have been talking with the people who are behind the Kickstarter and who have been asking some rather serious questions, and hasn't all been revealed yet. But right now, from reportedly, I'm not going to say it's firm information because, well, this is secondhand sources. But what is being said, at least quietly, it hasn't really hit the main media, is that they're not concerned about hackers, and supposedly they're not planning on putting in security to defend against hacking, and it may be routable, I should say. And, that right there is a large concern. But, they're also not actively chasing after game partnerships so far that we've heard, except although we've heard the counter to that with the announce of human element coming to the system. The main problems I see is that, well, it's a great concept, and they certainly will have the money to get something started. I don't know if they'll be able to generate enough of a market appeal and put out enough units based on the money that they have from Kickstarter, unless they get some serious investment, which they may not do because, ever since, well, before E3 of this year, and for the last year or 2 years, all we've been hearing about is rumors of the Steam box. And if that does get announced soon, we're going to see the market for Ouya just fall right to the floor. If a Steam box gets announced and is going to become a real thing very soon, then it will basically crush Ouya in its place. But, I would love the concept. I would love a platform that made games, especially like Android's games that aren't accessible to everybody, and brings games to larger demographics and really spreads it that'd be great for cheaper hardware. But Tiger has been trying to do that for 20 years. And every time you see a Tiger handheld, it's clearanced for $5 with a dusty package that's probably been there since '95. And they've had systems you could hook up to a TV that could play your games, and they've gotten nowhere. So I have serious doubts that they'll be able to pull it off.
I think I also agree that it's going to be a bit of a long shot. Their biggest hurdle isn't necessarily getting the units, because I mean honestly, a series of business loans and taking certain partners in would be able to do that. I think one of the biggest things they're going to need to do is find a reason for people to want it in their house. Right now, they have the ability for it to work through Twitch TV, which is kind of nice. But if they're just operating, if that's it, then that's a null sell.
Yeah.
If they're saying this is something that we could do, how about we hook up with people like, I don't know, Blip, or hell, any of those other video aggregators, making it a multifunction console. I think that would help sell. I also think that if they force people to, if you make it incredibly easy to buy the games and to play the games, I don't think you're going to have to worry as much about the whole piracy thing. That's just to touch on this very incredibly lightly, and this is something we could also talk about one day.
Yeah.
Pirates don't pirate as often if the game is easy to get as is. If
That's
it doesn't
true.
have crazy DRM, or it doesn't have hoops to jump through to play the damn game, you have people that would probably throw money at it as opposed to pirate it. And I think that as long as the Ouya provides that, it's like, press button, receive bacon. Oh, look, here's game. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal.
That is true. That's very true. But these are the concerns. But I think it's not so much about the games getting pirated that I'm concerned about. It's how much data will they be collecting, and if they don't have security measures built into the system, no matter how you look at it, and if it is connected online, they're going to have some kind of security for the online functionality. And if they don't, they're going to screw themselves.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about any multiplayer games that they're going to do and how they're going to handle that. One would hope that would be part of maybe like phase 1 will be just single player games, because who the hell cares? Maybe phase 2 will be something more like, the way Steam handles their online games or something. Then at this point, that's all speculation.
Yeah.
But honestly, I haven't even heard of any company saying, hey, we're going to do these multiplayer Who's It things. So who the hell knows?
Yeah. Well, it's not also the online playing games, but if they're going to have an online delivery system of games, and that's insecure, that's just asking for anyone you could name to come along and go, oh, look, I can get information from this. Whee!
Yeah, I think it's going to depend. I don't know if it's going to depend so much on the console itself as it is their sites. So I wouldn't worry. I'm not worried too much about that. It's as long as they encrypt everything on their end, and all you're doing, if you're looking at it from a database perspective, it doesn't matter who the hell is pinging stuff in. As long if you've got the right name and the right password, then you can get past that first set and actually be able to do stuff. But the biggest thing that they need to do is make sure that on their end, they don't screw the pooch.
Yeah. So basically,
That has nothing to do with the Ouya system.
No, it doesn't. But the system's tied to a company, and
I know.
If the company screws up, it screws up for the system being able to sell. So, I'm not against it in theory. I mean, it is a great idea. It would be nice if it becomes a reality, but I am dubious about it actually happening, and I'm dubious about its success, so I'm going to spectate this one. I'm not going to come out against it. I mean, I have my doubts, and I've made them quite public, but at the same time, I'm not going to say don't invest in this or don't pay attention to it. I'm just saying, be careful what you're throwing your money at, because, we've seen something like this before. We've seen this movie, and,
Wait, which one? Are we talking about the Phantom?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow, that's an ancient bit of gaming history right there.
Just a little bit, but what do you expect? We're old geezers in the gaming world now.
I swear to God, yeah. It's okay. My birthday was yesterday, so I am feeling
Yes.
incredibly.
I have been feeling old at several points over the last 2 years. Every time another anniversary comes around, Final Fantasy's 25th anniversary, Mario's 30th, Sonic's 25th. All the game icons we grew up with are turning 25, 30, whatever, and it's just like, oh God.
Yeah,
You know.
I haven't even been looking at a lot of that. Well, partially because oh God, old, and also, you know what? I would care a lot more if they made a damn Sonic game that wasn't absolute ass. That I haven't tried Sonic 4 yet, but all the other ones up to that point.
Have you? So you've played Generations, or you haven't played Generations?
I refuse to play Generations.
Play
Just as soon
Generations.
as play Generations.
Play Generations.
Okay.
I picked it up during a Steam sale.
And that makes it worth it.
Well, partly that helped, yes. That's what prompted me to play it, because I felt exactly the same way. I'm like, but then it was on sale for like, I don't know, it's like $10 or something. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? So I threw money at it, and then I sat back and I played it for like 2 days. And I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting. What the hell happened? It's that, what the hell?
All right.
It's the same feeling I had from playing Final Fantasy 13 Part 2. I'm like, what the hell am I playing?
Yeah, I love the early Sonic games. I've got a Sega Genesis over here right now, and I've got the Sonic games on it. But you know what? No. Once they started going 3D, Mario did 3D well.
Yeah.
Sonic did 3D terribly. And we could make a whole other setting on the whole conversion to 2D and 3D and how good or terrible it went.
Yeah, writing that down too.
Oh God, yeah. I'll have to discuss Splatterhouse at that point.
Yeah.
Hey, I like my games. But
Who
Sonic,
knew?
Yeah, really. Sonic was a terrible. There are terrible things that happen to poor Sonic, and most of them wouldn't be written on bathroom walls anymore.
Hey, you got Sario and Sario.
Sorry.
Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics, which aren't that bad, surprisingly.
Okay, see, you have kids, so you can say, oh, I got these for the kid. Me? Oh, there is no way on God's green earth. I would walk in there, and the EB guys would laugh me out of the store. It would be embarrassing. They would take a picture and put me on their website, and my rep would be ruined forever and ever.
Well, see, I go in there, and I'll buy Lego Batman, and I'm saying, I'm buying this for me. The kids are going to play it, but this is mine, because I don't care. It's like, I play these games. Yes, I have kids, so I get some of the more kiddie games. But, I'll sit down a pile of games to buy, and, like, not that long ago, it was like Lego Harry Potter, Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics, and Catherine. And I'm like...
Okay, you know what? 2 of those 3 are totally fine, because, you know what, you can... Catherine's friggin' awesome. The first game you mentioned, Brain Farted, is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Brain.
Yeah, Lego Harry Potter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The Lego series is friggin' fantastic. Everyone should play those.
Yeah. Except for Lego Star Wars. The first 2 Lego Star Wars sucked. I don't care what anybody says. I hated those ones. The fact that it was Star Wars is the reason I bought it, and I played them. They were all right, but the first 2 I think were some of the earlier Lego games, and they were still figuring things out, and you can see that because in the latest one, or Lego Star Wars 3 Clone Wars, they took a lot of big leaps from where they were with Lego Star Wars 2 and Lego Star Wars 1. They fixed a lot of the problems that they had because they started applying the formulas they did with Lego Batman and Lego Harry Potter and the other ones. But the first 2 Lego Star Wars games were absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. They were great to look at. Controls were a bit wonky, but just the playing, it was just blah.
I'll have to keep that in mind then, because I've been looking at picking them up at some point. Well, along with all the other games I've got here.
They'd be a great example of seeing the differences that can happen, as a game developer learns as they're developing games. They're a great example of that, but I did not enjoy them compared to the later games that I absolutely adore.
Okay. All right. Well, we're starting to get a little long in the tooth here.
Yeah.
Let's try and break this down to one last thing because we've been bringing up Steam and things of that nature. Go over to their page and you suggest one game that's on the today's deals, yesterday's deals, flash sales. What the hell should I buy and why?
Oh, you don't want much. That's a hard call because there's some good ones on there.
That's why you only get to pick one.
I know. I'm looking. Oh no, never mind. This is easy. Today's is easy. Well, slightly easy. No, it's still easy. Yeah, Civilization 5
Okay. Why?
because it's absolutely fucking beautiful.
Okay. You know what? I'll give you that. It
You
is
know.
out of all the Civ games, that one is fucking gorgeous.
It is.
It's
I loved 4. 4 had a lot of things going for it. And there are some things I miss from 4 that aren't in 5. I will give it that much.
You mean like the intro song?
The intro song and
Baba Yetu is. Oh.
and the lack of Nimoy. But, aside from that, Civilization 5 is just beautiful.
Yeah. All right. I've already spouted off about a number of things on here, but if I had to pick one game that you absolutely had to get that was on sale today or yesterday, it's going to be Fallout New Vegas.
That's a good one too.
I'm a huge fan of the Fallout series, and I personally believe that Fallout New Vegas has the superior storyline. The DLC isn't terribly intrusive. There's only one of them. I believe it's. You take a look at the name of it. Let's see. I think it's. No, it's not. Honest Hearts is the only DLC that I would probably say don't worry so much about, but all the rest of them are totally fine. And honestly, you can get Fallout New Vegas game, the Ultimate Edition, for $10, and everything that comes with it is totally worth it. Now, someone, let me see, who asked that? Oh, Aridane wants to know what the hell our most embarrassing Steam purchase is. I'm going through my list right now.
Oh.
I imagine yours is shorter than mine because I have 362 games on here.
Yeah, mine's shorter because I'm fussier.
Oh, I am a game whore. I will put out for anything.
Yeah, that's me in the MMO space. If it's an MMO, I will play it. I don't care who makes it. I don't care what it's about. I spent a week playing that pony game from Acclaim. Mind you, that was half work, but I actually played the damn thing, Pony Stars, because
oh God, Pony Stars.
I played it. I had a reason for going there. I have to, but in full disclosure, I legitimately played the game because it was somewhat of an MMO. So, if I wrote up my resume of tested and played MMOs, it would probably be in the thousands. But most for Steam purchases, oh dear.
I can tell you the game I regret buying, and that's going to be Black Ops 2. I'm sorry. The second I started playing it, I tried to play through it desperately, going through, but it's like every 30 seconds there's another cutscene that I did not care about. The shooting was subpar, and the only reason why I would ever install that game again is to shoot zombies in the face.
Well, I
have better games for that, so...
I can't say I have one that I regret buying. I actually am happy.
No, embarrassed. Yeah, we're going for embarrassed now.
Well, if we're embarrassed, Reset Tier and Item Shop's Tale.
How can you be embarrassed of that? It's adorable!
It is adorable, but when it's sitting on my list, wedged between Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword and Civilization 5.
It's the gushy center.
It is the gushy center of my Steam list. It really is, because it's the cutest thing on the list, and it's about the only thing that comes with cuteness. Sonic Generations doesn't count.
No. No, it doesn't. No,
You know?
Reset. I love I love Reseteer, and I love the guys that put them out because I follow them on Twitter all the time, and they are absolutely hilarious. And I found that their games are really they're hard in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Man, I'm looking through my list still. God, I have a lot of games on here. I also have Reseteer. I need to play it.
Yeah. I need to play that again.
Let's see. I'm running out of games to look at here. Damn.
Oh, there's got to be something you're embarrassed by.
It takes a lot to embarrass me. My freaking name is Sans Pants all over the place, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, then it should be something that involves pants.
Oh, God. That needs to be done one day.
I thought it already was. It's called Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, that's not embarrassing. Okay,
it's not
the
embarrassing,
early ones,
but that's without pants.
That's true. The early ones are great. There was also another Kickstarter that happened recently. It's the dude who did Leisure Suit Larry wants to make a game.
Yep, I remember that. I think it got funded too.
I think it did as well. I didn't throw money at that one.
Nope.
Okay, you know what? The most embarrassing game on my list here, I actually own Alien vs. Predator. I'm sorry. It was on sale for like $2.50. I was probably high on something I touched 30 seconds before.
Wow.
And I feel bad. Everyone keeps saying Brink is a game that they are embarrassed to have. I didn't have that big a problem with Brink.
No.
It was, I mean, granted, it's a game that shouldn't have been bought at full price by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't that bad.
I can agree to that.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little more forgiving about certain games, but I mean, as I said, I regret buying Call of Duty Black Ops. That one is more embarrassing on my list than any of the other games. Yeah, see, yeah, Chooks, you probably bought it at full price, didn't you?
Now, if anybody else looked at my list, they'd probably say that Game of Thrones would be something I should be embarrassed by, but I'm not.
Wait, which one? The strategy game or the RPG?
The RPG.
You know what? Atlas brought that over. That immediately makes it cool.
I know, right? And there are some things about it that I can understand why there's been so much hate for it. But those things that most people complain about are part of the reasons why I actually enjoy the game.
You know what? That's fine. That's totally awesome. I was kind of tempted to pick it up when it came on sale. I think it was yesterday or the day before, but I'm already spending so much damn money.
Yeah, you have to pick and choose. When there's a Steam sale, it is, you sit there and you look and you look and you look and you're like, I want something, but God, there's too many choices. You have to make cuts somewhere.
You know what I found is really fun? And this is something that I did a couple of days ago. What you do is you scroll all the way to the bottom of your Steam page, right? Click on where it says Shop by Category, hit Games Under $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, then click on where it says, get the list of all the games, and then you have to click on the little drop down at the top where it says All Items and pick games so you don't get a lot of bull crap, and then sort by price. And just look through here. I found a few games here that were pretty neat. That was like $1.25. Chrome and Chrome Spec Force are worth $1.25. Greed is totally worth I think that's an expansion. But if you can find that for like $1.50, that's totally worth it. Hydrophobia isn't worth it. Well, it's probably worth it for $1.25 if you're willing to put up with it. But it didn't quite jive with me. But Larva Mortis, I spent $1.24 on that. And I am enjoying the hell out of it. I already got I already got all of my money off of that.
Well, that's the thing, but nobody really thinks to look at these because, they're all looking at the front page and all the big ticket items that they're like, oh my God, but there's so many little games or cheap games that, nobody thinks to look at. You pick them up and we could do a whole weekend series every weekend about these games and probably people be like, why didn't I hear about this? And that's why.
Yeah.
Because people skip the cheap games because they think they're crap.
Yep. Ooh, wait. Time Gentlemen Please and Been There Dan That as a pair is up for $1. That's worth $1.
Absolutely.
Hell, Civ 3 is $1.25.
Wow.
You know, Kishi, I bought Frontline's Feel of War as well. It was like on sale, and I didn't mind it. It wasn't terrible, but it was one of those games where you have to put like 3 clips into a dude to kill him. And
Section
yeah,
8.
there's a reason why I don't play any of the Gears of War games either, because that just annoys me.
I enjoy Gears of War because it's fluff. It's good to have fluff. You need fluff.
Yeah, fluff is good. If you like fluff, hell, get Magicka.
Yeah.
Pick up the DLC a bit at a time because damn, there's like 30 things there now.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, my bad. I'm sorry. That's me pushing over too much. There's 14 things there right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a DLC for Magicka coming out every couple of months. Like every 2-3 months. They announce it and it releases. And, you know, it's good fluff gaming. You can't go wrong with it because it's just nice and fluffy. You don't have to think. And it's just a brain massage. That's what Gears of War is for me. Just a light brain massage. I don't have to do anything. Just sit there and watch.
See, I can't do that. I suck at shooters on consoles. I'm too old for that shit. I can't really, the moving and the turning and the aiming. Yeah. It just doesn't work for me. I can't do it on If they released a PC version of that, I would finish the game. But as it is now, not so much.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't. I've got Bulletstorm for both console and PC, and I really enjoyed that game.
Well, Bulletstorm is adorable,
Yeah.
and yeah, you yank people towards you. Oh, look, slow motion. Where am I going to shoot them? The face or the groin? Face or groin? Face or groin? And it's always both.
Yeah, or you shoot them with the bottle rocket round and they fly up in the air and their ass explodes. It's great.
Oh, yes.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, when you can shoot people in the ass and you get credit for it.
Yeah. That's stress relief 101 right there.
Yep.
So, yeah. We're going to have to start doing lists of great games you find on Steam that you probably never heard about. That's a listing feature that I would endorse.
I would be all over it.
There's a lot of them that you see on other sites that I just can't stand because they're just, the top 5 ways that Mario has tripped over his cock or, things like that is boring. But
I'm sorry, I just got some of the world's worst Rule 34 mental images on that.
But then you come along and top 5 list of games you probably never heard of and probably should, and they're $1.50 on Steam. Go get them. That would be great.
Oh yeah. Certainly. I mean, I throw money at stupid games all the time. Between Steam and Desera, mainly Desera because, oh yeah, there's a couple of games I could talk about on there that I picked up. Mainly, it was off of one of those indie bundles. Not the good indie, not the the humble indie bundle, the good one, but another one that I found. I got a few games from that are pretty fun too. That's certainly something we could talk about at another point.
Yeah. One of the best indie games I've played. I'm gonna have to bring this up. I want to bring this up now because it's so beautiful, and that is Lucid. Let's see if I'll drop the link for the site in the chat, and it is on Steam, actually. That is, it's a gem puzzle game, and it was developed by one guy. He did 90% of the work himself. I talk to him every now and then on Twitter and whatnot. And that game is just, it's the candy crack of video games.
All right, I'm going to click on that.
But that one is,
Oh God, it's a gym game.
It is, but it is fun. And the music is wonderful. I mean, it's $20, but it's worth it. For a fluff game that you can just sit and play and enjoy just because, and you don't have to worry about Facebook notifications. You're not playing. It's not Bejeweled. It's not anything Bejeweled Blitz where you've got a timer, this, that. It's just a fun Jewel game that has a nice twist to it, and you can just sit back and I'll leave the game on just for the music because I love the music. But that is one indie game that I would recommend because it's just a well-made, fun little title.
Oh, well, apparently it's a $250 if you're on Steam right now.
That
So
wouldn't
if you're gonna
surprise
make me choose between $250 and $20,
Oh well,
well,
absolutely.
screw you, buddy.
I was just looking I was looking at the site because that's got the video. I didn't even think about checking the Steam sale for it.
Let's check. Yeah, that's it. That is totally it.
Well, there you
Damn.
go. That would be worth it. Yeah, it's normally $4. This site must be outdated. Normally $4.99. Yeah, that's definitely worth it. Either way, I just adore that game. I reviewed it like a year and a half ago, and I still play it because it's just such a lovely game.
All right, we're popping up over an hour here.
Yeah, so I think we're ready to wipe this one and call it a shit.
All right, well, let's get it. We got one last quick question you want us to talk about real quick, and I mean really quick.
I don't know. Anybody in chat has something they want to know?
I'm watching. I've already done the most embarrassing game I have on my Steam set. Droplets was adorable. Okay, Jeff Ting brings up, have we tried City of Steam?
Yes. Tiffany actually previewed it a while back. And I have an alpha code. I just haven't jumped into it recently. Was planning on jumping into the alpha probably this weekend, since I got an invite from them for that. But I know Tiffany did preview it. I'll just bring that up. Because that was...
Yeah, if you could link that in the chat,
yeah,
that would be great.
It was... She was favorable about it. There were some things that could use some tweaking at the time, but that was early. That was like pre-alpha. So we're gonna take a second look at it with the alpha and then into the beta.
I'll admit I saw them when I went to GDC this year. They didn't have a lot of stuff set up, but then I found out that apparently the City of Steam game has a tabletop component as well, and that, of course, tickled me in special places I would have to point to a doll on. And I like the idea of it. I think that I'm not entirely sure how I feel because a lot of it has to do with a lot of it is point and click and attack, which drives me up a wall. But I'm willing to put up with it up to a certain point for MMOs because MMOs.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the feel of it. I don't think we've touched on a realistic-ish steampunk kind of game. There's always the Japanese, high floaty Final Fantasy-esque thing that's been floating around forever that a lot of MMOs are grabbing onto. But this one is a lot more Western, even though it's being developed entirely in China.
Yeah, which is just amusing.
Well, yeah, I talked to the guys there. They said, you know what, screw this noise. We can get this work done for a third of the price. And they moved to China. They moved to Shanghai. I think it's just outside of Shanghai. And they set up their own little studio there and everything, just like three craggers, and and they went and started hiring a lot of their artists and stuff directly over there.
Well, it makes sense, and they it's not that they're going to have it's not that they won't have a big market, because the Chinese market for games, the Asian market for games, especially MMOs, is huge.
They're not seeing an upper limit. They have consistently grown the most out of every market out there for the last few years. And the amount of money that they make is growing, not quite exponentially, but really damn close.
Yeah. Which is why I can't wait to see Phantasy Star Online 2.
That's going to be interesting, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week.
Okay, I think we have one last question. Okay, come on, Chooks, make it quick. Quick! Dude! The worst game community? I'm not answering that.
No, I could. I
as
could.
people who actually kind of deal with games and community stuff, that's a loaded question. I will say that largely I avoid message game forums these days.
Yeah.
Mainly because I find that the fastest way to ruin an MMO is to go on their game forums.
Oh, I think he's me. I think in-game community. Yeah, still not gonna touch that one. I have to deal with the people who are, promoting
That's
these games and running them. That's the problem. We could
when
say
it comes to in-game community, that is incredibly subjective because it depends on what time of day you're on and what server you're playing on before you to really be able to ascertain that. I will say that I think I can safely say that the worst community I specifically have ever dealt with was End of New Earth, or that New Earth Dota game. When I popped in, it was Heroes of New Earth. That's it.
Yeah.
I tried to play a game of that, and it was I was embarrassed for humanity about halfway through because it was I've never seen people so immediately hostile, and that pretty much turned me off of the game.
Yeah.
I tried it once, uninstalled it afterward, regretted the amount of time to try it, and I went on from there.
Yeah, I think I can actually. Now that I think about it, I can name one game community that, while the overall game community was absolute shit, I did manage. The guild that got formed there, that I formed at that time. A lot of those people are still with me. Would be from Heroes Online, or Hero Online, from I can't remember who put it out, M Game or something, or Net Game or Net whatever. That game was just horrible. Outside of the little group of people I managed to collect. Yeah, Kieran. Hero.
Yeah, Hero Online. Yeah,
Outside of the guild, the rest of the people in that community was just horrible. Horrible.
I can believe that. I totally can. A lot of the free-to-play communities can be they can be very difficult to deal with because there is no $14.95 gate.
Yeah. Well, even that doesn't stop people anymore anyway, but still.
It doesn't stop people anymore, no.
Best game community?
Lotro. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go with Lotro on that. You pop in there and everyone that I deal with is at least amenable. And if not absolutely freaking friendly. They will give you hugs.
World of
If
Tanks.
you go to Halflings, really?
Yes, World of Tanks, actually. Other than the occasional asshat who might be in there, overall, World of Tanks is one of the best game communities I've been in. In recent years, definitely.
I might have to give that a try.
That is my go-to MMO. When
okay.
I just want to hop into an MMO that I can jump in, jump out of. I'm not pressured to do anything. I don't feel like I have to spend X amount of hours doing quests. You're just jumping in, you get into a couple of tank battles, you can call it a day, relax. That is definitely, and the people in there generally are really good. I mean, you screw up, they're going to tell you why you screwed up, but 9 times out of 10, the way they're mentioning it is more in getting you to understand, especially for newer players, getting them to understand where their mistake was so much rather than, just screaming and hollering at them. Because it's the kind of game where one person could win the battle, but not one single person on their own could lose the battle. Which changes the dynamic.
You know what? That's a very valid point.
Everybody cheers for the one, even the other side of the battle. If somebody does something pretty spectacular and pulls the game into a win, everybody's going to cheer for him. But, if you're the last guy alive and you can't stop the 4 panzers that are rolling toward you, nobody's going to yell at you for that. Because that's just not your fault that everybody else died.
That's actually a pretty good selling point, actually. I have to think about that. EON, End of Nations. I can't talk about that.
I can't either, actually.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome. I'll have to figure out why later. Yeah,
Mm.
I can say that it is fun. I saw it last year at PAX, and the two ladies there lifted up my kilt, and it was amazing for everyone. I wish I could find the pictures, but I can't.
I'm not sure I want to know.
Oh, it was delicious. All right. It is. I think we have hit our time limit, guys and
Yep.
gals. It was an absolute pleasure. Again, my name is Matt. I am on Twitter as SansPants, and you can reach me there. I also do some writing for Anjel Syndicate, specifically in terms of tabletop role-playing games and other things of that nature.
And, of course, I'm Angelus X on Twitter. Well, just Google Angelus X. ANJELUSX. That will find me with like 15,000 entries. That's me. David, Angelus X Longwait, Director of Angel Syndicate, thank you for dropping by. Let's do this again sometime soon. And this show is going up live on YouTube probably shortly. So yeah, thanks for dropping in. Thanks for the fun. Thank you, Matt, for the lovely conversation. And
Not
we'll
a problem.
catch everybody later.
All right. See you all around.